Good morning, everybody. What day is it today? Wednesday morning. Today is December 4th, and I am very tired. Hey, kindly cleric, how's it going? Thanks for stopping in. I am exhausted, you guys. My baby is teething hardcore. He decided he would have both of his top front teeth come in within the same week, and I've I haven't had the greatest sleep. Yesterday, unfortunately, I had to cancel my stream because it was just too much trying to deal with baby and then the stream. So had to cancel my stream yesterday, and then today I am very late, 5.5 hours later than my usual intended time. I was up until I think 5 a.m. last night. And I did have a few alarms set for 7 a.m. this morning so I could get up, shower, stream. But I slept right through those. So we're a little late starting our stream today. So apologies for that. Thank you guys for your patience and continuing to support me, regardless of the lack of adherence to schedule this morning. So, uh, we are talking today about Lord of the Rings, about D&D. So the blind panic of waking up late. Yeah, no, I woke up. Actually, it's funny because so our house, we have doors that are quite creaky, and because of how poorly my baby has been sleeping the last month or so, we haven't been properly closing the door all the way. Usually we do close our doors all the way, but we've been leaving it cracked open so that it doesn't click when we're opening and closing it and waking him up. And this morning, the only reason I woke up when I did this morning is because my cat had decided to be my alarm clock and had pushed open the door and come to my bedside to cry at me. So that was the only reason I woke up when I did this morning. And by the time it was like 11:30, which is quite late for me. So I woke up in a bit of a panic this morning. I feel very, very out of it. But yeah, so we're talking this morning about Lord of the Rings. We're going to go through our usual segment today in Tolkien, a quote of the day, a little bit of D&D discussions. I don't have a whole lot to say about D&D this morning, but maybe if we have some people in the chat engaging, maybe we'll have a little bit more to say about that. And then we're going to jump back into where we left off last stream, so Monday morning. We're going to be jumping into the second part of A Troll Hole, if ever there was one, by Free League Publishing in their Tales from Eriador book. So lots of fun stuff today. So let's get into it. So today in Tolkien. So today is December 4th. This would be equivalent to the 15th of Forule in the Shire Reckoning calendar. At this point, Frodo and Sam are still resting in Rivendell, getting all their hours of sleep in preparation for their journey to Mordor. But a lot of stuff happened this day on Earth. So let's start from the very beginning. We're jumping back all the way to this day in 1944. So on this day in 1944, Tolkien wrote letter 91b. So this was a letter to his son Christopher. So in this letter, Tolkien details his recent activities, including concluding his Beowulf lectures and dedicating substantial time to developing the time scheme and incidents for Book 5 of The Lord of the Rings. This task proves challenging, necessitating significant revisions and potential changes to the map. Tolkien also describes attending a pleasant examiners meeting at Balliol, hosted by M.R. Ridley, where an amusing error in the exam papers was discovered. Additionally, Tolkien recounts a humorous anecdote shared by Mrs. Du Bois about an English subalterner's linguistic mishap during the last war. He concludes by mentioning a 2-hour meeting at Magdalen with C.S. Lewis and Charles Williams, where discussions on prosody and Charles Lamb took place, although Tolkien admits to not particularly appreciating Lamb's work. So Charles Lamb is, let's see, who's Charles Lamb? He was an English essayist, poet, and antiquarian. Antiquarian. I'm not going to pronounce that right. Best known for his essays of Elia and for the children's book Tales from Shakespeare. That's what he's known for. I'm not familiar with either of those, so we'll move on. So that letter to his son was written on this date in 1944. Jumping ahead a few years, the essays presented to Charles Williams, including on fairy stories, was published on this date in 1947. So On Fairy Stories is an essay written by Tolkien about the reader who enters a realm full of fairy tales. And here's a little excerpt from that essay. The realm of fairy stories is wide and deep and high and filled with many things. All manner of beasts and birds are found here, shoreless seas and stars uncounted, beauty that is an enchantment and an ever-present peril, both joy and sorrow sharp as swords. In that realm a man may, perhaps, count himself fortunate to have wandered, but its very richness and strangeness tie the tongue of the traveler who would report them, and while he is there, it is dangerous for him to ask too many questions, lest the gate should be shut and the keys be lost. So that's a excerpt from On Fairy Stories by Tolkien. Moving ahead to 1953, an issue of the magazine Radio Times featured an article by J.R.R. Tolkien. So the article was called A 14th Century Romance. And this article consists of the foreword to Tolkien's translation of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which was broadcast on the BBC Third programme in 1953. There's not a whole lot mentioned about this essay, so it is a mystery to us. And then in 1953, the 4th episode of The Fellowship of the Ring was aired on BBC Third programme, part of the 1955 radio series. Moving ahead to 1963, Tolkien wrote a letter to Miss Clark, and the subject of this letter was discussing Leaf by Nigel and the homecoming of Beornoth, and the designs for the dust wrapper for The Lord of the Rings. In 1967, Tolkien wrote a letter to Roger Verhulst, and in this letter, Tolkien thanks Mr. Volhurst for sending him 2 copies of C.S. Lewis's Letters to an American Lady, which he finds deeply interesting and mentions that he is now recovering from an illness. We move ahead quite a ways to 1999. Oh, thank you so much for the follow, Undying Beast. I appreciate it. Moving ahead to 1999, voice actress Gaia Wise was born. So Gaia Wise was a British actress that was cast as the English voice for Hera in the War for Rohirrim, which is our upcoming anime movie here that I'm sure there's tons of people just vying to watch this new movie. So Guy Wise was born on this day in 1999. Much younger than me. In 2001, the documentary Master of the Rings was released. So this was a 80-minute documentary that covered aspects of the Tolkien epic as its literary influences, character and plot analysis, inspirations on other arts, such as the progressive rock of the 1970s, and enduring popularity. It also features an art gallery booklet of the brothers Hildebrandt and a music CD, The Landscapes of Middle-earth. Lord of the Rings Symphony played on this day in New Jersey in 2004. And jumping into more recent news, in 2012, Guardians of Middle-earth was released on PS3 and Xbox 360. So this was a multiplayer online battle arena video game by Monolith Productions. The player fights in a battle of 10 combatants, 5 on each side, who are either controlled by online players or by the AI. The player is able to choose out of 20 different guardians who each have their own strengths and abilities. There's an in-game currency that can be earned during battles, which can be used to buy items. During battles, the player will be able to communicate with allied players with in-game voice communication. So there's a few different guardians. Some notable ones include Gandalf the Grey, Gollum, Thrain, and Sauron. I actually never heard of this one, to be quite honest with you. But I didn't... Xbox 360, so this was released back in 2012. And I'm pretty sure, I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure at this point in my life I was obsessing over Skyrim pretty heavily. So I don't think I actually heard about this Guardians of Middle-earth. Mind you, I didn't play a whole lot of multiplayer games, so even if I had heard of it, I don't know if I would have ever gone into it, to be honest. And then finally, in 2014, there was a documentary that was aired, and it's a French documentary, so I'm going to completely butcher the name here. J.R.R. Tolkien, Le Seigneur des Écrivains, which translates to J.R.R. Tolkien, The Lord of the Writers. So it was an hour-long documentary that aired in 2014, produced by French Television and Rosebud Productions. It covered the life of J.R.R. Tolkien, the developments of his two famous novels, and their effect on the modern era. And it was made as part of the 7th season of Busnell's talk show, Le Grand Libraire. And sorry, my French is very, very poor, so take all these pronunciations with a grain of salt. But that concludes our review of Today in Tolkien. Little bit of stuff, quite a few interesting documentaries, actually. We haven't seen a whole lot of mention of documentaries in our previous Today in Tolkien's. So some interesting ones out there for sure. Master of the Rings, and then the French one. Um, I actually didn't know that Tolkien wrote an essay called On Fairy Stories. So that's an interesting thing to explore. I think I might take a peek at it some other time. And then let's go to a quote. So quote of the day. So let's see here. What do we have? We've done a few different ones. So let's go to Unfinished Tales. We haven't done a quote from Unfinished Tales yet. So let's go to the Quest of Erebor from the Unfinished Tales. When you think of the great battle of Pelennor, do not forget the Battle of Dale. Think of what might have been. Dragonfire and savage swords in Eriador. There might be no queen in Gondor. We might now only hope to return from the victory here to ruin and ash. But that has been averted, because I met Thorin Oakenshield one evening, on the edge of spring not far from Bree, a chance meeting, as we say in Middle-earth. So this, it looks like this is a quote of Gandalf, actually, about how Gandalf arranged for the retaking of the Lonely Mountain. Very good. All right, so that's our quote of the day. Let's move on to some D&D discussions. So I kind of mentioned last time I streamed on Monday. I didn't have too many, or I didn't have any D&D this past weekend. My Friday game was canceled due to myself, because I needed to take my baby to see Christmas lights and Santa. And then my Sunday game was canceled due to some scheduling issues for a number of other players. So I actually didn't play any D&D this past weekend as a player. We did have our one-shot, The First Date, which if you haven't checked out, I do have a VOD on my Twitch page and as well as on my YouTube page that you guys can check out that has our thing there. I'm working on the proper recording video. I need to adjust my video editing software in order to properly modify that video. But we had a lot of fun. It was I've ran that game a few different times now, and every time I find something different, either something that was underwhelming or something that was overwhelming. This was actually kind of fun because my players. So I've played with these people. These are buddies of mine that I've played with in various D&D games, and I've played with them in numerous different situations. Either they've been DMs for me, or fellow players, or they've been players at my table as I DM'd. Just various different relations there. And I think that the difference between their playthrough and some other playthroughs that I've had is they're very observant and very smart about their choices. Not to say that other players that have played this one shot of mine haven't been observant or smart about things, but usually someone slips up somewhere, and it's ends up being a tumble of situations occurring because of that slip up. But my players were just on the ball with things, and their dice rolls were amazing. Particularly my ranger, who uh, I don't know how she did it each and every single time, but like to the T, just one shot for exactly the amount of hit points that my monsters had. And I did do average HP for these monsters. I didn't roll HP, because where I run this game usually we do average HP. Hindsight being what it is, maybe I should have rolled for HP, or maybe I should have fudged a little bit of the HP in order to make it more narratively appealing. But because of the relationship I have with these players, and because of my experience playing this game at my table in the other setting that I do, I didn't retcon anything. I just was like, yeah, no, uh, you one shot them. It's fine. Um, but it was a lot of fun. I think my players still enjoyed it. It's a bit of a cheesy little story. We kind of get introduced to the person that Charlie is at the very beginning. He's kind of he's a bit of a recluse. He lacks a bit of social skills and social confidence. Um, and yes, this was a combat heavy mission. Combat was the main focus of everything. Um, so my players didn't get a chance to get into the role play aspects so much. But the follow up mission to the first date is the second date, where we get a lot of role play opportunities. And I do want to eventually stream the second date for you guys here. Right now I'm focusing on our upcoming one shot with the Lord of the Rings 5e system. That will be of Ill Fillings and Miscrust, which is a little homebrew one shot that I did up based on the Shire Adventures from Free League Publishing. It's a bit of a whodunit, a bit of a lighthearted mystery game. Um, I've never actually done a whodunit before, and no, not to spoil it too much, but this is a different take on a whodunit than your casual murder mystery, because it's the Shire. We can't have too many dark things happening in the Shire yet. So I played around with I've played around with a bit of things here. Now all we're waiting on is for my players to finish up their characters, and for us to pick a date to stream things. Um, I gotta be honest, I'm not anticipating with the Christmas holidays coming up here that we're going to be streaming before Christmas. I've found that the availability of my players, even to just finish up their characters, has really dropped off. Where I'm really struggling to find time to sit down with them to uh, talk things through and get things finalized here. So likely that one shot will be streaming in the January season. All right. So other things. Oh, some interesting. Well, I find it interesting. Maybe you guys won't find it interesting. Um, some notable stuff for sure. is I support some other streamers on Twitch here. So I regularly try to tune in when I can to those streams. Some I guess streamer updates as it were. So first thing, we've got a streamer by the name of Malcolm Hinson 4. I'm trying to say that off of memory, so um, uh, bear with me if I messed that up. But Malcolm and I are thinking of actually teaming up to do a couple like D&D type discussions on our streams. So Malcolm streams stuff about D&D, I stream stuff about D&D and Lord of the Rings. So we've actually been talking about teaming up to have a couple streams where we co-host together and have an opportunity to discuss things back and forth in a natural way. So we haven't discussed too much about when we would do this. Again, it'd probably be a morning thing, I imagine. Malcolm tends to stream in my mornings, but he's on in the Europes, so it would be kind of his afternoon evening type deal. So I'm expecting to be able to talk with him a little bit more about that, and maybe in the future you will see two people on here. So if you guys do not follow Malcolm, please take a peek at their stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I can't do it directly from Streamlabs here. I will give a shout out to people a little later on. Second thing is the Kindly Cleric, who is another Lord of the Rings, TTRPG, D&D streamer. He's actually a professional dungeon master, so if you are searching for a dungeon master, please check out the Kindly Cleric. So Kindly Cleric runs these, I believe he calls it Middle-earth Mondays, which occur for me, I believe 8 a.m. Monday mornings. I think it's 10 a.m. Eastern time on Mondays. And he just talks about all things Middle-earth, all things Tolkien, some various different Lord of the Rings inspired topics, and he's invited me to come talk with him on his show. So I'm not too sure about the start day on that, when I might jump in there, but stay tuned for more on that because it's a good time, and Kindly Clark does a lot of good content. He also does Tabletop Tuesdays on Tuesday mornings, which they talk about all sorts of things D&D related on there. So please give the Kindly Cleric your love. Give them a follow for sure. With all this stuff, someone asked me for a logo of my things, and I was like, oh, I do not have a logo for myself. I do have, a logo, but it's not really a logo. It's more of a placement type thing. So I decided I needed to obsess over making a logo. So yesterday, that's what I did. I made myself a logo, and let me just see if I can bring up this here, because it was I'm pretty excited about what I did. Phoenix logo, animated. I'm pretty excited about what I did. I'll be honest, I'm not a designer, so this was made with Canva, which, for those of you who are not familiar, allows you to create all sorts of different what's the word I'm looking for? Different media files. So it's not necessarily always the is it this one? Yes, it's this one. All right. It's not always going to be the sorry. There we go. Loop. So sorry, I'm very distracted here. Trying to get this up on screen. So, Canva allows you to select different assets to create different types of media. So you can create logos, animated logos, banners, videos, images, documents, posters. I would say it's the limit is your imagination, but the limit is not your imagination. It does lack some functionality. It does lack some customization features, but it fit the needs. It fit my needs for the time. So this is the logo that I did up, and this is just the animated GIF version. It's a little work in progress. I'm pretty happy with it, but because of this, I've just been obsessing over what would be my next addition to this. So I made like a little profile picture circle for my Twitch. I made a banner for my Twitch. I'll probably translate those over to YouTube as well. But yeah, I was really excited to get this fixed up, and I'm excited to share it with you guys because I think it looks cool. And no, it is not. This is not my artistic abilities. I am not. I in no way, shape, or form claim to be an artist. This is just assets available through Canva that are free to use, or I say free, but you need a subscription in order to use them. So yeah, so I made this. And I'm really excited about it. So if you guys like it, please let me know. If you think it can be improved, let me know that as well. There is a little bit of lack of functionality, like I said, in the Canva, but really interested in feedback from you guys. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. All right, so we've done all that stuff. All right. I think the only other thing that I wanted to update you guys about is my schedule. So I'm looking more at streaming now, Monday through Thursday, Monday through Thursday mornings. It fits my schedule best because that is when my husband is at work. So I try to be mindful of the noise that I'm making in our house. So I don't generally stream Friday through Sunday in order to mitigate the impact of my chitter chatter on his days of rest. So I've put up a tentative schedule for myself. It is approximately 9 a.m. start times. And I say approximate because with a baby, I cannot guarantee when my schedule will actually allow me to get on here. Case in point, I thought I would have maybe an hour to stream, and my baby is already awake. I'm severely limited in what I can actually achieve as a streamer, what I can guarantee as a streamer, but I still want to try and commit to streaming to you guys on a regular basis. So I've put out this tentative schedule to give you guys a rough estimate of when I try to be on. And if my baby falls asleep earlier, I might get on earlier. If my baby falls asleep later, I might get on later. But this at least gives you guys a good ballpark idea of when I'm roughly planning on streaming. With that said, my baby is awake. Unfortunately, I do have to get off here. I had thought that I'd be able to at least get through the review of the rest of a troll hole if ever there was one. But unfortunately, it seems that my baby has decided I shouldn't be streaming today. So I'm going to go attend to him. I'm sorry for the short stream, you guys. But if it helps, if it makes you guys feel any better, he is very cute and very smiley, and he does appreciate you guys giving up your time with me, so that I can go attend to him and go play with him. So I appreciate that, you guys. If you guys like the stream, please give me a follow, a like, a share, a subscription. Please support the stream however you can. And do not just support my stream. There are loads of great streamers out there. I'm actually going to be updating my little recommended streamers section to share some of the cool streamers that I have discovered on Twitch with you guys. With that said, we are going to call it here. Again, thank you guys so much. I will see about streaming hopefully tomorrow morning again, as long as my baby sleeps through the night. If we have another night like last night, I'm going to be very grumpy. So thank you guys again so much. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful Wednesday. And we will talk again, hopefully tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.